Okay, let's get right into it. You've probably asked yourself this question at least once. Why do some people keep getting richer while others constantly struggle financially, no matter how much they actually earn? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the psychology of money. We're going to look at the exact spending habits that separate self-made millionaires from, well, everyone else. We are breaking down the specific things wealthy people literally refuse to waste their money on.
Because look, we all kind of assume becoming wealthy is all about earning a massive paycheck, right? We tell ourselves, if I just got that promotion, or if I just landed that huge client, all my financial stress would completely vanish. But there is a much deeper secret at play here. Earning money? That's really only half the equation. What happens after that paycheck hits your bank account, that is what actually dictates your financial future.
Here's the actual truth. Wealth is built by avoiding spending traps and being intensely careful about where your money goes. It's a super delicate balance between making money and preserving it. Millionaires are fiercely protective of their resources. They don't just focus on the cash coming in. They aggressively monitor what's going out just to make absolutely sure they aren't slowly draining their own potential for financial independence.
So in this explainer, we're going to hit four main themes: prioritizing assets over luxury liabilities, status versus true freedom, the daily spending drain, and finally, habits of intentional wealth.
All right, first up, assets over luxury liabilities. Let's look at those massive structural financial traps that keep people stuck on that hamster wheel of working just to pay bills.
The wealthy understand one very simple rule. If it loses value, they think twice before borrowing money for it. Period. Buying too much house or financing luxury cars, these bring massive structural monthly drains to your budget. We're talking about interest, sky-high taxes, expensive insurance, the ongoing maintenance, the whole shebang. When you prioritize liabilities that cost you money every single month over assets that generate income for you, you are actively working against your own financial growth. And then there's the devastating impact of high-interest consumer debt. I mean, imagine paying 20%, or honestly, sometimes even more, on rolling credit card balances. It is staggering how quickly this eats away at your hard-earned cash. The wealthy view interest so differently than the average consumer does. To them, interest is their best friend when they earn it, and their absolute worst enemy when they pay it. So, the crucial point here is that every single dollar paid in unnecessary interest is a dollar that cannot grow your wealth. Paying 20% on a credit card to finance a lifestyle you can't afford is literally investing against yourself. That's exactly why the wealthy use debt strategically to acquire cash-flowing assets rather than using it to fund consumer purchases that drop in value the very second they leave the store.
Moving on to theme 2, status versus true freedom, the hidden cost of public approval.
This brings us to a fascinating psychological trap: the intense, often subconscious desire for status symbols. We are constantly bombarded with marketing telling us what success is supposed to look like. But true wealth, it often looks surprisingly ordinary. Dropping cash on expensive watches or heavily branded designer clothes might impress total strangers at a stoplight, sure. But most millionaires prioritize genuine financial freedom over public approval. They would much rather have a massive investment portfolio and sleep soundly at night than stress over monthly payments just to maintain an image for people who don't actually matter to their success.
And you know, this mindset completely applies to how they handle their tech and tools too. Rich folks don't just grab a brand new phone every 12 months or a new car every 3 years just because a slick marketing campaign tells them to. No way. They upgrade when there's a real, measurable return on value, a huge jump in productivity, or a genuine improvement in their quality of life. They refuse to get caught in that endless upgrade cycle.
Seriously, comparison is just incredibly expensive. If your buddy buys a new car or the neighbors completely renovate their kitchen, it's so easy to feel like you're falling behind. But remember this: wealthy people stick to their own financial plans, rather than trying to keep up with the Joneses. They let other people spend money on appearances while they quietly compound their investments.
Which brings us to Section 3, the daily spending drain. This is about the long-term impact of your daily spending.
Zooming in a bit, building wealth requires serious discipline in the small things. Rich people constantly review their spending by asking themselves this exact, highly effective question: does this expense add value to my life? If the answer is no, they mercilessly reduce or eliminate it. It's not about painful sacrifice, it's about optimizing for the things that actually matter to them.
I like to call this the compound drain. It's those small expenses repeated daily, like impulsive gadgets grabbed at the checkout line, random stuff bought just because of a flash sale, excessive online subscriptions, or, yep, even that daily high-end coffee. Over a decade, these turn into massive, wealth-draining black holes.
A $30 impulse buy doesn't seem like much today, but when it happens 3 times a week for 10 years, you've just robbed your future self of a massive chunk of investment capital.
So how do we actually combat this? Well, there's this super practical guide wealthy individuals use called the 24-hour waiting period rule. Here's how you do it. Step 1. When you feel the urge to buy something unplanned, just notice the impulse. Acknowledge that temporary excitement. Step 2. Force a pause. Wait 24 hours, or if it's a really big purchase, up to 30 days. Step 3. After the time has passed, ask yourself if you still actually need it. This little bit of added friction ensures temporary excitement doesn't turn into permanent financial regret.
And finally, our fourth theme, habits of intentional wealth, investing in your most valuable assets.
Let's pivot from what not to buy to what we absolutely should be investing in. Now, before you go taking all that saved cash and throwing it into the latest trendy crypto coin or some confusing stock option, remember this wisdom from Warren Buffett. A massive waste of money is investing in things you simply don't understand just because of FOMO, the fear of missing out. The wealthy do their homework because they know that knowledge reduces risk and ignorance pretty much guarantees you'll lose your shirt.
Because the ultimate mindset shift is this: money can be replaced. Time? Absolutely not. The wealthy aggressively avoid time-wasting purchases, things that consume hours of their day without creating any real value, joy, or personal growth. They protect their time every bit as fiercely as they protect their bank accounts.
So what are the replacement habits? What do the wealthy actually put their money into? They invest heavily in education, building high-income skills, accelerating business growth, prioritizing top-tier health and fitness, and pursuing deep personal development. Spending money on these things isn't an expense. It's an investment that yields infinite returns by leveling up your capacity, your productivity, and ultimately, your earning power.
The biggest takeaway I want you to get from this explainer is that building wealth isn't about living a life of miserable deprivation. Not at all. It's about making highly intentional decisions. Every single dollar you save from those status traps, the high-interest debt, and those impulsive daily drains, that dollar becomes a soldier in your army, working around the clock toward your financial independence.
It all boils down to consistency. Time, multiplied by good decisions, creates truly extraordinary results. The habits of millionaires are surprisingly simple, but they require discipline to execute day in and day out. So I'll leave you with this question to ponder. Looking at your bank statement from the last 30 days, are you spending to look rich today? Or are you investing to